Hey, what's up everyone? Hope you guys are having a good day. My name is CollegeSportsREVIVED and welcome back to the College Hoops 2K Legacy Mode series featuring Fordham basketball, where Coach Carter has led the Rams to an 8-6 start, ready to tip off conference play today. Thanks to two big wins against Tulsa and UT Martin last time around, Fordham has already eclipsed our season 1 win total of 6, but we're also far from a finished job as we hop over to the A-10 standings to see how non-conference play has treated our counterparts. Fordham only ranked 8th in win percentage and non-conference action, showing that yes, we have made some strides, but let's also not lose sight, as these are the games that truly matter. Remember, our preseason goal was to clinch a conference tournament spot. We'll need to finish 12th or higher out of the 14 A-10 schools, and checking in on these division standings should be a reminder of how tough this conference really is. We even open our A-10 schedule against 2 out of the top 5 teams in terms of win percentage, so we're going to be opening up the floodgates in Philly against Temple today, and later on we'll host the Dayton Flyers. Only 2 games highlighted today, as we'll be doing our fair share of simulating near the end of the episode. We took on Temple in the middle of our epic 11-game losing streak a season ago, and we had a pretty good shot of snapping it against them, but we opened up the game on the wrong side of a 15-2 run and we just could not catch up, falling short to the Owls. We're going to try to play a more complete game against these guys this time around, and I don't think this Temple is as elite as they were a season ago, as they lost all conference players Denard Springer and Deron Coleman to graduation. But this has opened up the floor for 6'1" senior Donovan Gadsden to take the reins of this team. It's clear that they like to play through him, as Gadsden has taken almost 2 times as many field goals as anyone else on the roster. This was the top 3-point shooting team in the A-10 last year, and while losing Deron Coleman may hurt their chances of repeating that, they still have plenty of offensive firepower to make a run at the title here in Season 2. Alright everybody, welcome to Philly. Trying to right some of our wrongs from our conference play schedule a season ago. Cade Sorensen wins yet another tip-off, and we are off and running into the first A-10 action we've seen all season. Stan Scott trying to put us up by 5, but we're going to have to settle for just 4, as Cade Sorensen has actually accounted for all 4 of those points so far. He's fresh off of the best performance we've seen in his senior year. He had 15 points and 13 rebounds with a block against UT Martin to close out last episode, and then he finds Evangelo Higgins on the very next possession for a spot up 20-foot jumper. So Cade Sorensen already accounting for all of Fordham's points so far, as he also collects his 3rd rebound already. He's fresh off of the best senior year performance he's had so far. He had 15 and 13 in the UT Martin win to end off last episode, and Stanton Scott, who now leads the team with 18 made threes on the year, knocks down another. So now it's Fordham this time around with the hot start. It was Temple last year, but now we're enjoying a little bit of a surge to begin this matchup, as Dustin Black checks in along with some other reserve pieces. 16-9 Fordham, as we're about halfway through the first half of action. Temple, not often you see their offense failing to even tread water like this, but Braylon Ellison, a 6'6" senior, will dice his way to the basket, and he's also second on the team in 3-pointers made behind Gadsden, so someone to keep an eye on for sure. Great defense inside, but then Dustin Black immediately turns it over. He had kind of a rough episode last time around, as he struggled against St. John's, and he almost forces the turnover here. But Dustin Black will try to get his bearings and try to D up on Donovan Gadsden, but he leaves him just a little bit too open, and Gadsden now up to 7 points. He's someone you do not want to see get going, and then it's back-to-back turnovers for Black. Gadsden in transition. This one's well short. At least we get back and stop this one, but Dustin Black's been going through a little bit of a cold spell through these last couple of games after being so highly efficient on his freshman year. Another mistake there, a bad shot selection, but then he will try to find Stan Scott on this possession. Amir Holiday with 2 offensive rebounds, and the second one he'll keep for himself, as the 6'4" senior gets on the board. 22-17, 3 minutes to go. It's been a pretty good collective effort so far for the Rams, as Aliva Ebok, an African recruit, he's a 6'7" senior, who's only made 5 threes on the year. Well, Temple looks like they're starting to finally get it going from 3. It took them a little bit longer than you might expect, but now they're back within a bucket with about 90 seconds to play here in the first half, as Braylon Ellison just walks the dog right behind the 3-point line, turns around and fires like nothing. He's up to 9 points, a top scorer on the game. So the senior, who's actually Temple's 6th man, he's the one helping them stay afloat, as Preston Murphy wants to try to answer out of the timeout, and he does successfully. Nice pass by Fabian Swanson. Murphy, he will now get his name into the scoring column. He's been a little bit quiet today, as here comes Hendricks. Little kick out back to Eric Sullivan, who doesn't play a lot on this team, but a big shot there to retake the lead. Are we seeing a bit of a shootout here? Well, guess what? Evangelo Higgins wants to try a heat check as he explodes. An NBA range 3. Here we go with Evangelo Higgins, our top scorer on the year, around 40% from 3. He's second on the team in made threes behind Stan Scott. And look at this team. This is a squad that's having fun out there. 28-26, 7 seconds left to play here in the first half. Stan Scott trying to D up on Braylon Ellison, the hottest Temple out here in the first half. 1 second to shoot, and he just gets it off in time. Ellison gives the Owls the lead heading into the break. The senior 6th man has 12, and he celebrates a little bit too up and close and personal for Stan Scott's liking there. He gets a finger right in his face, and he just looks at Ellison like, man, what are you doing? Let's see if we take it personal a little bit here in the second half. Things starting to get a little bit intense, as here comes Evo Higgins with the turnaround jumper. That's become one of his signatures, but this one can't drop. As up ahead, it's Kennedy Veasley, who is a little bit on the heavy side. He's 6'8", 273, but he's got some bunnies, and he's also the do-it-all man for this Owls team. He leads this squad in rebounds, steals, blocks, and is second in scoring, as Stan Scott is off the mark there. Great rebound by Cardale Johnson, and again, these Owls will run the break to perfection. Donovan Gadsden with 2 more. He's up to 9 as he looks to get it going. I really wish Fordham took better advantage of that lackadaisical first half on the offensive side of the floor for the Owls. You don't catch breaks like that against this team very often, but we just could not score enough points to really make a dent on the scoreboard, as it's Chance Phelps on the follow, no good, but then it's Cardale Johnson on the 3rd chance, and he will get his name into the box score as well. So Temple opening up the second half on a pretty sizable run here. We'll see if we can finally get it going. We've only scored 1 basket through the first 3.5 minutes, and Cardale Johnson with 2 more points. Another very talented wing defender on this team. 6 points, 5 rebounds, and he is second on this team in steals. Him and Kennedy Veasley combined to make a very hard to decipher defensive front court. 10 minutes to go here in the ball game, and as the lead swells to 10. Cade Sorensen's been our go-to guy over these last couple games when we need a bucket, and he absorbs the contact on top of Chance Phelps. That is a size mismatch we have to take advantage of. Sorensen, he has 3 more inches on Phelps. As we jump ahead a little bit, as some reserves check in, including Amir Holidays, who's had a great game so far off the bench, and a beautiful lead pass inside to Chen Li, as that's actually Lee's first basket in a little while. The 6'7" freshman from China has been a little bit quiet these last couple games, but then Stan Scott, he will get his hands on this pass. Murphy collects his 3rd theft. Kick out to Chen Li, extra pass to Amir Holiday with a huge shot. Holiday's got 5. Man, nicely done there on the transition game. Holiday's had a bit of a quiet senior year, but the former T2 transfer is putting together his best outing so far on his senior year, and then Preston Murphy has his back. Great inbounds play, little give and go between Swanson and Murphy, as those two link up to make it a 1-possession game with 2 minutes to go. As Evangelo Higgins checks back in, tries to blow by his man, but the help comes. He'll reset it with 4 seconds left to shoot. Crossover on Veasley, bounce pass to Swanson. He's gonna have to hurry. No good, and the tip-in almost goes, but Amir Holiday grabs his 3rd offensive rebound, but this putback will not fall. Oh my goodness, 2 points we should have had there, and now the pressure shifts back to our defense. Temple's had an awesome second half shooting the rock. We'll see if we can hold on. Adrian Duffy, what a backdoor feed. Inside to Cardale Johnson. Just not enough there tonight, guys, to get this win. It was an intense battle for a while until we lost our bearing there for a couple minutes. We got hit with the nasty turnover bug there in the second half. That gave the Owls an inch, and this team is just so good, so well coached that they took a mile. 27 combined from our backcourt, but Higgins went quiet down the stretch after a great first half. And surprisingly, Fabian Swanson was invisible as well. He was the top player from the previous episode. He starred last time out, but he fails to even get on the board this time around. Amir Holiday had a nice little explosion. He helped us with some big shots, rebounds, and defensive plays. Definitely the best game he's played on a pretty quiet senior year so far. Braylon Ellison was there to help turn around Temple's uncharacteristic start. Once they started operating like normal, Higgins started having a hard time defending Donovan Gadsden, who came out of nowhere to have 18. But the Fordham frowns don't stay for too long. As we hop back to the main menu, we see we have a close victory that we score against Duquesne. That comes next to give us our first conference win of year 2, and it was in a shootout as well. As you see here, we barely held off the Dukes to save this win. As Cade Sorensen, who had himself a career episode last time out, pours in a new career high 23 points to help offset Preston Murphy struggling for the first time in a couple games. It's been a little bit since I talked about his struggles, so that's going to happen time to time. Corey Terrell also continued his inviting stretch of games with 8 bench points. Stan Scott was second in scoring behind Cade with 13, and he picked off 4 passes, so it was surprising to see him so effective considering he actually rolled his ankle in this game. He's expected to stay in the lineup in our next matchup, but our injury luck has been a little poor recently. We just got back Preston Murphy 100%, and now our spark plug, our energy guy, Stanton Scott, is going to have to play hurt against the Dayton Flyers. So here is our home opener against those pesky Flyers, a team that lost some experience this offseason. They graduated 7-footer Bamba Shimokawa and starting point guard Kyrie Somerville, as underclassmen Archie Stafford and Rylan Wilson will fill their spots moving forward. Archie Stafford is one of the more underrated players in the conference. He stands at a lanky 6'10" and is a freak athlete. I mean, this kid can run, he can jump. He is someone who's very disruptive on both sides of the floor. Brian Zollner is a solid top scorer, 10.5 points in 21 minutes for the burly 6'10", 280-pound big man. I think the Zoller versus Sorensen matchup will be a treat to watch. As Cade Sorensen, he's been red hot recently, and he rarely faces bigs with as much meat on their bones as Brian Zollner. So we'll see if that's a bit of a matchup problem for Sorensen, as he has a different taste to deal with down low. Lance Reynolds will kick things off as a missed 3 is then rebounded by Zollner, who has it rejected by Cade Sorensen, and a great outlet pass by my boy Fabian Swanson will set up Evangelo Higgins for an electric 2 points to begin things today. So we'll see if we can get off to another nice start like we did against the Temple Owls, but this time around hold on in the second half as Tracy Augman, the starting point guard for the Dayton Flyers, finds Brian Zollner, who muscles his way right past Sorensen. So we'll keep things pushing here on the offensive end. Swanson looking for assist number 2. It'll be actually Stan Scott who finds that dime. Preston Murphy looks to turn around that 0-for-7 game in that simulated matchup against the Dukes, and then it's Fabian Swanson and Stan Scott both getting a piece of that rock as Swanson turns the corner and gets 2 points thanks to our full court press, as Rylan Wilson then tries to come back, and it's 5 unanswered for the Dayton Flyers. Rylan Wilson, a freshman starter for this Dayton team, and he is skilled with the ball in his hands, that's for sure. So once again, it's another slow start for both sides, just like we saw in the Temple game, as Tracy Augman is rejected by Preston Murphy. Corey Terrell collects and clears, and the ball will actually go inside to him as the skip pass goes to Evo Higgins. Extra pass to Amir Holiday. He's coming off his best performance of his senior year, and it's another dime, and it's another positive play for Amir Holiday. Man, he flew right past Alexis Chapman, kicks it out to my boy Higgins, who continues to flirt with around 40% shooting from behind the line this season. Highly effective for my boy number 3. 15-9 game now is Corey Terrell. He's had a couple pretty solid games so far, and now he'll make an extra pass, returning the favor to Amir Holiday. And Holiday again looks to have another solid performance tonight. As the Flyers call timeout, we double their scoring output so far on the game. A bucket will hopefully turn things around for Dayton. 18-11 as Murphy is knocked down by a screen, but then it's Holiday with awesome anticipation, takes it away for steal number 2, and Dustin Black tops it off to Chen Lee as those two hook up for a second time tonight. 20-11, another Flyers timeout. Now it's dwindling a little bit, a 7-point lead, but Fordham still in control with around 4 minutes left to play. Again, they sink back into this zone as Dustin Black looks to turn around his poor fortune. He's had a couple of crooked number tallies in the turnover department, and he hasn't been as effective shooting the rock, but there's a nice one right there. So now Fabian Swanson is doubled down low. They finally get the steal they were looking for. Augman inside to Lance Reynolds, who tops off the break. Reynolds is their third leading scorer, but they have 4 guys who hover around 6.5 points per game. This is a team that spreads it out a good amount, and that includes 8 players with at least 5 points per game on this Flyers squad. 2:16 left to go. It's Swanson, and again they're trying to really shut down this post game for us, but Swanson wants to hear none of that. He'll give Scott a second look at it, but again it's Fabian. And take a look at this post move right here, going against his body. What a deceptive move, as Swanson now has 8 and Sorensen stays after it on the press. Scott back inside to Sorensen, and he'll take those 2 points for himself. 2 steals for Cade. And that's a lot of turnovers for Dayton so far. They're only shooting 36% heading into the half, with 6 team giveaways so far. 37 seconds left to go as we look to extend this to a double-figure deficit for these Flyers. Swanson to Higgins for 3. It's another one. Higgins hit one earlier in the left corner. Now he does it in the right. 2 for 2 for 3 on the game for Higgins as we head into the second half. He is our second leading scorer with 8 points. Swanson has 12 with 2 blocks. As Tracy Augman is now blocked, it's Swanson for a 3rd time. And this one has actually rotated back inside of Brian Zoller. A little bit of tough luck there, but Zoller, one of the few right spots on this Dayton offense. 6 points and 3 rebounds in the first half of action. As we see Swanson collecting his own miss immediately after, and now he's headed to the line. We need to talk about Fabian Swanson. He's coming off an episode where he was a jack of all trades, averaging in 3 games 12 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, and 1.5 blocks. So far this game, my boy Swanson has 12 points, 3 rebounds, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. He just continues to fill it up in all aspects of the game. It's been pretty interesting how Dayton has defended us. Again, they're trying to double every time the ball goes into the low post, and forcing us to beat them with our jump shooting, this time to no avail. Augman over to Lance Reynolds, who will then make it a 7-point game as Dayton finally hits from downtown. They missed their first 8 shots from 3, and Lance Reynolds himself was 0 for 5, but they finally get on the board from downtown. 10 minutes left to play as Reynolds will then try to slice and dice his way past Stan Scott with that bum ankle, and he will get 2 more to fall. So Lance Reynolds, a bit of a microwave player. He really struggled in that first half of action, but he's already got 7 here in the second half. 37-33, 8:42 left to go as Chen Lee and Amir Holiday check in for Fordham. It's Lance Reynolds again. This time it's Nick Nunez, another freshman, finding him, and he is one of the few Flyers, if at all anybody other than him, to have success from 3. And it's a nice little 11-1 Dayton run to give them some life here tonight. Higgins will now try wide open. There's his 3rd 3. Chen Lee with an assist to go along with his 4 points. Up ahead to Rylan Wilson, a talented freshman. He'll reset it to Tracy Augman with an incredible backdoor feed to Nick Nunez. That might be one of the better passes we've seen all season from either team or anybody we faced. 7:26 left to go. This one's rotated around to Dustin Black, then Chen Lee, Evangelo Higgins will try to take this thing on Nick Nunez, and this one is blocked by Stafford. Archie Stafford, I warned you guys about his crazy, scary athleticism as he pins a Higgins shot off the glass. This one's off though. Finally, Dayton's starting to cool down. Higgins, nice outlet pass. Bounce pass inside to Corey Terrell, but he smokes the layup. Oh my goodness, what has happened to Fordham's offense? As Evo Higgins gets caught in no man's land trying to draw a charge. So Archie Stafford will tie up the game with those free throws there, and you got to ask yourself, what has happened to Fordham's offense? Nick Nunez inside to Brian Zoller, who's starting to heat up. 15 points as he nears in on a double-double. 5 minutes left to play. Stan Scott kicking it back out to Dustin Black, who's barely missed from 3 this season. This one's off, and then Corey Terrell leaves it too strong. What is going on with Fordham's offense? All of the success they were having in the first half has been completely wiped away out of nowhere, and then Archie Stafford has a layup rejected by Cade Sorensen. It looked like a clean block, but the refs felt otherwise. So not only are we shooting ourselves in the foot with our missed opportunities, but now some questionable calls going against us, including this take by Archie Stafford as well. Where is the foul on this layup? Oh my goodness, Dayton on a huge run so far. Where is the foul on this take to the basket? This has been one of the most shocking second half performances we've seen in this entire Coach Carter series. Not to mention Dayton on a 24-9 run. Yes, we've scored 9 second half points. We came into the locker room up 35-24, and that has been completely wiped away with our offensive incompetence here in the second half. Higgins will try it, and finally we get into double figures as a team in this half. I don't know what's going on, but there's still time to salvage this game. 2:25 left to go, and it's another intense finish upcoming. Zollner to Archie Stafford. Great defensive play by Fabian Swanson as Higgins uses those long strides to get the ball up the floor. Inside to Sorensen. He's getting harassed down there. He's going to try to get a shot attempt up. And where's the goaltending call at? Archie Stafford clearly blocked this after it touched the backboard. And the ref in the back judge is looking right at it. And he doesn't blow a whistle. He doesn't even react. The rebound is cleared by Lance Reynolds as Tracy Augman finds Reynolds up the floor. This one's off, but Zollner for a three-point play. His third offensive rebound, his second and one. As he finally has that double-double. And this one just sucked the life out of this building. 54-48. What is going on? Fabian Swanson wide open to Preston Murphy, and this one's like not even close. Again, it's another missed shot, and the bad luck continues for Fordham. We can complain about this officiating all we want, but how many open looks at the rim do you want before you knock down some shots here in the second half? Oh my goodness, how did the tables just turn on us like this? I don't even know what to say. Fabian Swanson, he was one of the few guys to really step up there. I mean, Higgins had some garbage points in the second half, but yeah, it was really just Swanson, and Sorensen desperately lost that battle inside. He allowed 20 and 10 to Brian Zollner, along with Corey Terrell, 0 for 5 today. He had a nice stretch of games, but today he was just completely lost in the offensive end. And of course, like you see here, 20 and 10 for Zollner, 15 points for Lance Reynolds, and we can blame the officiating all we want. It was horrible. It was garbage at the end of the game. And I'm sure Coach Carter won't hold back in the press conference, but we need to give ourselves a better chance to win this game by just knocking down our shots. How many open looks do you want before we decide to make some shots, guys? I don't understand. We beat ourselves this game through and through. An awesome 27% as a team there in the second half. That tells the story. We're just trying to sit here and figure out what in the world happened there. So the burning question has got to be, how do we rebound from completely falling apart like that, especially in a rematch game against Temple and a road affair against St. Louis? as the Billikens received top 25 votes. At least we do have an easy portion of the schedule coming up against George Washington, Richmond, and Xavier, so it's something to definitely look forward to at least. However, the rematch versus Temple is again a hard-fought loss. 62-60 as we skate to 1-3 in A-10 play so far. It was a very similar defeat to the first game, but we just didn't have enough left in the tank. Sorensen scores 13 and Murphy 15 as Higgins and the bench both go quiet. And who else other than Donovan Gadsden would be the Temple Owl to score 22 and put the game out of reach? St. Louis would join the top 25 after this win over Fordham. They improved to 15-4 on the year as they take us down 72-61. They have a brand new three-headed trio that all score double digits to take us down. Remember they had that awesome three-headed tandem that graduated last year? Well, now they got three more guards who are all potential stars: Terrell Desmond, Deontay Culver, and Josh Puente. They're all dazzling underclassmen who will surely become stars over the coming years. The front court was great. 29 points and 9 rebounds put together between Fabian and Cade, with Chen Li adding a career-high 9 points in 9 minutes. Unfortunately, we slipped back a little bit. It seems like we're falling back into some of our old habits from Season 1. But like I said earlier, we'll at least be playing in an easy stretch of games next time around, with Richmond and Xavier traveling to play us at our gym, and GWU also being on the schedule as well. All three of these teams are under 80 overall, just like us, so it's definitely a good stretch that we'll be seeing next episode. Hopefully we can turn it around against these weaker opponents. But at least recruiting is looking up for us, with Kaya Hendry highlighting our biggest recruiting news on the season so far. We have finally reached 100% interest as the search for the first 4-star recruit in Coach Carter's career continues. I know the Seton Hall Pirates, they reached 100% on Hendry before us, but it didn't take too much time after the Pirates to get us here too. And remember, Junior Battle was 100% locked by us and another school, yet he chose us. So it's not impossible, it's a long shot, but we aren't out of the race for Kaya just yet. Can't forget about Stevie Mouton, an insurance policy for Hendry. Stevie Mouton brings playmaking and defense to a college lineup. We're also number 1 on 6'7" wing Craig Stone's board, which is also big news as the Georgia native has A- potential. We didn't find that out until very recently, and that's a huge deal for a program like ours. Craig Stone doesn't specialize in anything in particular, a lot of C's for his rating so far, but his ceiling is the sky. Coach Carter may have found a gem here. St. John's seems to have run away with Bennett Pinkala. He seems to favor playing at a big-time team over getting big playing time out of the gate. So that's it for episode number 17 as the recruiting update wraps up. Let me know if you guys like the structure of this episode better than normal. I feel like 2 games per episode is a nice way to shake it up, but if you guys want to keep it at 2 games per part, I'm cool with that. You can see more plays per game. Episodes can come a little bit faster because I don't have to edit 3 games, I have to edit just 2, and I'll also be able to highlight recruiting news and news around the conference without it feeling rushed, and I can spend more time on the other things, not just the games themselves. So let me know if you guys like 3 games per episode or 2 games better. Honestly, I like 3 for the longest time, but after doing this 2-game episode, this might be the way to go in my opinion. We're starting to lose our great start, however. That's the bigger news. That awful collapse at home against Dayton felt way too similar to last year. However, this stretch next episode, as it eases up, is a great way to turn things around. Let's hope we show up. So that's it, guys. I'm wrapping up today's episode. This is College Sports Revive signing out today. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys very soon for more Road to NBA 2K and more Coach Carter College Hoops 2K Legacy Mode here on the channel. Hope you guys stay tuned, as I'll be back very soon. Peace, everybody.